Chapter 18 of the Colored Patriots of the American Revolution by William Cooper Nell. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by the Progressing America Project. The Colored Patriots of the American Revolution. Chapter 18. Florida. Toney Proctor, a veteran 112 years old. Toney Proctor, a free man of color, died in Tallahassee at the residence of H.L. Rutgers, Esquire, on the 15th of June, 1855, in the 112th year of his age. The Tallahassee Sentinel thus notices the death of this remarkable man. Quote, Uncle Toney, as he was familiarly called, must have been, at the time of his death, at least 112 years old, and the probabilities are that he was several years older. It is known as a historical fact that he was at the Battle of Quebec on the 13th of September, 1759, some 96 years ago. His recollection of that event was clear and distinct. He was there in the capacity of a body servant to an English officer, and was 16 years of age or more at the time of sailing, in company with the English sailors, from the island of Jamaica, to return no more to the place of his nativity. He was subsequently engaged in the same capacity, though under a different officer, during the early period of the Revolutionary War between this and the mother country. He was in the vicinity of Boston at the time the tea was thrown overboard, and afterwards at the Battle of Lexington. He came to Florida long before the change of flags, and settled in St. Augustine, where he purchased his freedom, married, and reared a large family. During his long residence in the ancient city, where he experienced many reverses, living through a period much longer than is allotted to an ordinary lifetime, his conduct was such as to command the esteem and respect of its inhabitants, as well under the administration of the United States as the dominion of Spain. At the change of flags, he considered himself an American citizen, and remained in St. Augustine, true to his allegiance, during the campaigns and military regime of General Jackson, and subsequently rendered himself very useful to General Harney and others, as an Indian interpreter in the late Seminole War. Coming out of that protracted and disastrous war, reduced in circumstances, with nothing to rely upon for support except a claim upon the government for service rendered, but little of which was ever recognized and paid, he came, some 10 years or more ago, to Tallahassee to live with his son George. In 1849, George went gold hunting with the intention, if successful, of returning in a few years at the furthest, and relieving himself of his embarrassments. In the meantime, his family, as well as Uncle Toney, were left in charge of Mr. Rutgers. The circumstances attending his death were very remarkable. He died of no disease. His health continued good and his spirits cheerful down to within a day or so of his death. The first evidence of decay was that of sight, time in other respects, working but little change in his appearance. Death seemed to come over him like falling into a gentle sleep. The vital spark, like the socket of a candle, literally burnt out. Uncle Toney was much beloved by his own people. He was a zealous member of the Baptist Church. His funeral was one of the largest processions we remember to have seen. End quote. End of Chapter 18.